and you can't serve two masters. We know that as well. So these spiritually dispossessed people will follow their cult leader to their own death, their own demise, and that of their family and their children. We've seen this before. Never a mass hypnosis, I think, like we're seeing now, but half the nation realizes that there's a problem, and out of that half, there's maybe 1% that actually are doing anything about it. But it's that 1% that I believe are the ones that are going to have to lead the way moving forward. And people just need to embrace it, realizing that that's unfortunately the way it's going. And this is not new. We've seen this throughout history over and over again. We've never seen it here in the United States to the degree we have now. But it's really it's more than anything else. It's a spiritual war that we're seeing here, and the devils are running the show.
Well, Greg, a few days ago, or maybe a week or so ago, there was a big brouhaha about Trump and Vance taking on the Fed, and how, and I knew this would get you. Go ahead and tell us what is really going on behind the scene, and tell us.
It's too simple. What does Trump want, and Vance? What does the Federal Reserve want? The Federal Reserve wants to inflate. Every single bank has a single power. That is their ability to inflate. When you have a sitting president and vice president saying, we need a weaker dollar, how does that help we the people? It doesn't. Our cost of living is skyrocketing. Our economy is dissolving. In finance and economics, there are only, and I'm going to repeat this for the millionth time for everyone, there's only two fundamental truths. You can take the entire spectrum of finance and economics, every little facet. It only boils down to two things. Number one, to have a strong nation and a strong economy, you need a strong currency. So when you hear a president, a vice president, or a central bank whose product is debt, currency being used, that's saying we need a weaker dollar, you know they're working together. They both want the same thing. Artificially suppressed rates. Nothing could make a central bank happier than keeping rates suppressed, which means they got to devalue the currency moving forward, vastly expand the debt. Again, think big, beautiful bill. There's never been in the history of this nation, go back to George Washington, a president that's been a better friend to the Federal Reserve. They want the same things. If they want, it's a show. It's bread and circuses here. The so-called battle, which we're going to see really get going tomorrow when the Fed does cut rates. Oh, it's not enough. President Trump has demanded hundreds of basis points lower with regard to the federal funds, which could put us all into a negative rate environment, meaning people have to pay for the privilege of keeping their cash in an institution. It's an incredible thing. So the alignment here between Washington and the Federal Reserve, who's the real government, who funds it all? What do we have? We don't have the cash for any of this thing. When Trump wants to buy, let's say, a stake in Intel, which we just did, for example, in July, just recently, he's got to get on the phone with Powell, say, listen, I need the cash for this. Powell says, how much do you need? And he sets it aside. It's a game that they're just playing here. It's not real. It's staged. Everything. They already have their scripts. Trump has his. Powell has his. It's a mechanism of deception on a massive scale. So again, realizing that central banks, their power resides in one thing: their ability to inflate. When you have a sitting president and vice president saying we need a weaker dollar, the Federal Reserve, they couldn't be happier to hear that. It means they get to print more of their digits to a screen. Inflate the system here, makes them stronger exponentially. Artificially suppressed rates. How does the central bank keep rates suppressed? Can't just say it. It's not a magic trick. They have to create the currency out of nothing, which is obviously purchasing power negative, get into the debt market and buy the debt, and then explode the debt here. This is, again, the end phase. So you have President Trump, Vance on the same page as the Federal Reserve. Meanwhile, for the public, who has no idea how this works, they're putting on their little show. It's another grand deception by devils, and that's all it is. And it will lead to, what is it doing here? Record highs for the stock market, counting on more easy money, dissolving the purchasing power of the currency, wiping out the economy. U.S. industry is dying. Consumers don't consume. So if consumers can't consume, what happens? Factories don't produce. Factories are dying. President Trump's big lie, we're going to kill the dollar more. Cheers from the crowd. Meanwhile, they don't think, well, hold on a minute. Weaken the dollar more. That means it will cost me $1 last week is not going to cost me $2 this week. They don't think that. See, people never generally look out for their own best interest. They look at a cult leader like Trump, for example, who's way worse than a cult leader. He's a devil. And then they throw all their faith in him, obviously in the wrong place here. Can't serve two masters. Serve that guy. Meanwhile, forgetting about everything else. We've been warned about all this. This is just an unfolding of events that have been foretold to us. And it's going to get much worse from here as the system is dissolved. And the 1% and 2%ers this is their golden age, their alignment with the central bank. Trump being one of the top of the food chain right now, he has turned the Oval Office into a cryptocurrency empire for him and his sons. There's no legislation. There's not a single lifeline being thrown out to our nation. Again, we would need to strengthen the currency, not weaken it, to rebuild our economy from the bottom up. If anyone would just take a moment to just open up a window and say, okay, is Greg right? When were the most prosperous times in the United States economy? Is it a time of artificially suppressed rates in a weak currency or higher rates in a stronger currency? People don't know these things. It's obviously when the currency is stronger and much higher rates, that's when our economy booms. What we're seeing now is the deliberate takedown of the system. This is no accident why we're here.
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a